Hey guys, welcome to Beginner Barbecue. I'm Ben Harding and I have no idea what I'm doing. But today we're going to take a look at my new Oklahoma Joe's Highland and look at some of the mods that I did before the very first burn-in. And we're going to go ahead and do that burn-in so it's ready for the season. So first let's take a look at a couple of mods. All right, well most of the mods that I did have to do with sealing the thing up with gaskets and that sort of thing. So we're going to look at that first. First, here I have a 2000 degree fiberglass tape that I put on with high temperature adhesive. So that's going to be around the firebox. I also used the same stuff, which you might be able to see, around this connection between the firebox and the cook chamber itself. So I'm hoping that those hold up better than what a lot of folks have reported using other things. I also learned that people tend to have a lot of leakage in this joint here, which goes all the way around the firebox. And so I put some 800 degree Nomex gasket, which probably isn't ideal given that it's only 800 degrees and we're looking at a really hot fire, but we'll see how it holds up. It can always be changed out later. And then I use the same Nomex gasket around the cook chamber. Now, one thing that I learned that hopefully will save you some time is I thought that I would get a better seal around the entire cook chamber if I put the gasket all the way around. And once I had it all in place all the way around, it was a way worse seal than when it came straight from the factory. So I ended up peeling it all off and then paying more attention to where I saw leaks. So I put a flashlight inside here, pointed around the edges, and then I would just look for where I could see light. And so I ended up just putting one small strip here and then one double thick strip here. And from what I can tell, it's going to seal way better this way, since I just put it where it was obviously leaking. Now, one thing you may notice is that a lot of these bolts, in fact, all of these bolts, have some red on them. That goes for here where this handle is, and even these bolts in here, and we're going to get to that mod in a second. I even put some around the inside of the smokestack. And my whole goal here is to make this as efficient as possible by leaking very little air. And so that is 650 degree RTV sealant, which you can get anywhere. I mean, it's available all over the place. And so hopefully we're going to have a really really well sealed machine here by the time we're done. And then finally, the last mod that I did is right here. This is a smokestack lowering kit by Lava Lock. And I'll have links for all of these in the description. But the idea here is that the way this is designed stock, the heat comes in, tends to go straight up to the top, roll across the top, and go out the high smokestack. And one way to get more even heat across the cook chamber and make sure that your heat and smoke really get to your food down at great level is to lower the smokestack. And so hopefully, even if the heat goes up, it'll still have to come back down to an extent before going out. And this also theoretically helps with draw, getting smoke out. So that's a walk through all the mods that I did. Now it's time to oil this thing up and start the burn-in. One other thing I forgot, it's not necessarily a mod. I didn't really change anything about the cooker itself, but I did go ahead and get a fire basket because people reported that it generally helps with airflow and fire management. So I went ahead and got the name brand to make sure it would fit in the door nicely. So let's see how it goes. If you'd like any more information on the mods that I used, you can find links in the description. They are affiliate links, assuming I set them up right. And if you decide to go through those, that would be awesome to help fund this new barbecue hobby. One thing that I did want to mention, though, is that the manufacturer instructions say you're supposed to wipe down the inside of the unit with canola oil. And I've seen some other barbecuers use spray canola oil rather than wiping it down using a bottle and stuff. So I went ahead and picked up just a cheap bottle of aerosol canola oil spray at my local Aldi. It had a couple of additives, but nothing I was too concerned about. So it was really easy to apply, and I highly recommend doing it. It seemed to work great. If you're enjoying this video, go ahead and give it a like. And if you want to see where this barbecue journey takes me, go ahead and subscribe. I think we're going to have a lot of fun. And now I hope you enjoy a couple of extra shots of the fire starting and the smoke rolling. It was a beautiful day for it. All right, it's been several hours now, and we're done with the burn-in as far as I'm concerned. We've got some nice cherry wood going in here. Actually, I don't know if it's still burning. Yep, looking good. And I don't think I'm gonna add any more at this point. I'll let it burn out. But you can see I have some smoke leaking out of the bottom seam here, not a ton. The places where I have the gaskets on the side are not leaking at all. And then there's a little bit by each hinge that's leaking. I'm not too worried about it, but getting lots of lovely smoke. It smells amazing out here. And one thing that's really cool is I've been impressed with how the temperature's been holding. Granted, this isn't at great level, but we've been holding right at 250 degrees for most of the time. So that's cool. I feel like there's one thing I'd forgotten to mention. Oh, I know what it was. Once I was getting going, I noticed that this gasket around the outside of the firebox really didn't stick well. The adhesive was brittle and it just didn't work. So I went ahead and put a new bead of the RTV sealant as a new layer of adhesive, and so far it seems to be holding up, even though I didn't give it proper time to cure. So now we're ready to cook. But not today. We'll hit that another time. Thanks for joining me.